Hey guys, welcome back to another session with me. My name is Alex and I'm going to be guiding you today. Our focus for this session is on subtle bodies. And what that essentially means is the different energetic force fields that are within our body, physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual, and trying to connect that all to get our bodies and mind and spirit and emotions to a place of deep meditation and relaxation. And we want to do that because when our body is in that type of state, it allows itself to heal, right? Because when we're so active all the time and we're in a sympathetic nervous system with our flight and fight responses constantly keeping us on alert and getting triggers ready, we're so active that the mind is so busy and the body is busy that we don't have time to relax, and the body can't heal because it's in defense mode. So when we work with subtle bodies, we're talking about different energetic shields. We're talking about the kosha bodies, which are 5 of them. We have the physical, the prana, the mental, our third eye connecting to a higher state of being, and then essentially our bliss body, which is universal consciousness. And those 5 kosha bodies kind of work simultaneously together. They're like sheets. So they're different layers that we're starting kind of on the inside and working our way to the outside to really bring about this deep state of relaxation. And we also have different channels called chakras. And you'll hear this a lot of times with different types of yoga, where the theme might be centered around a specific chakra. We have 7 in the body that line up on the spinal column. And these are also kind of in line with our different nerve systems, connections, energetic points in the body. We have our nadi system. There's 72,000 nadi channels in the body. So these are just different avenues for us to begin to open up, stimulate, maybe release any blockages that we have. There's a lot that goes on internally in the physical body, but also in the mind that really holds us back if we don't take time to set aside and really listen to our needs and tap into those areas. A lot of times they might be uncomfortable, they might provide discomfort or unease, but in order to heal, we have to revisit that. So I'm going to be sharing with you guys today some different subtle body practices, really actually focusing just on quieting the mind and also allowing kind of a meditative state to take over us. I'm going to be playing some music in the background, very gently, very light, but it's just to allow you to feel more relaxed, almost if you were going to a spa. And, you know, when you get into that state, if you're getting a massage, you know, they've got the beautiful sounds playing in the background at a certain hertz speed, which allows, you know, connects internally to our mind. And we're going to be focusing on mudras, which are hand gestures. You can think of it as hand reflexology. And this is something that, as I was studying my yoga foundation material and really kind of learning about the different avenues in yoga, I began exploring mudras because they came up in my sessions and in some of the videos, and just the benefits of it. And it's very much a part of Eastern medicine, which if you're used to a Western medicine type mind frame, which that's all I grew up with, you know, you're not going to hear about it. And these are just different points on your palm and using your finger pads and your fingers themselves, connecting different movements together, even right hand to left hand, using your fingers in different positions to trigger certain parts of the body, which will help release, help detox, help stimulate. It's just all around really good and important information for people to know about. And I just thought that it was super important, especially with the crazy year that we've had. A lot of people have been on edge. There's been a lot of trauma, and everybody handles trauma differently. So sometimes, you know, in order to really just internalize a little bit and figure out how you can heal, you have to get quiet and you have to get personal with yourself. So that's kind of where I want to go today with this practice. We're going to just be sitting down in a nice, comfortable position. If you want, you can utilize a wall to help support your back. I am actually sitting on top of a folded blanket, and I folded it in half twice and then in half again so that it looks like this. And I'm just going to place my sits bones right underneath of that, and you can just keep your legs in a cross-legged position. If you want, you can also have a block if you want to keep them out and just let your knees kind of fall open to the side. But I just invite you to be extremely comfortable. Maybe take a couple shoulder circles towards the back, lifting those shoulders up towards your neck and back down your spine. Just letting go of any kind of stress that you might be holding on to. Maybe taking your neck and your head and rotating from right to left. Making sure that you're breathing. And then begin to maybe just rock your head back and forth in a yes position. Shaking your head yes. Opening up that neck. We're just trying to really rejuvenate different parts of our body to get in line. I'm also going to be sharing with you guys a couple of literature pieces that I found to be really helpful. I worked with a couple people who are experiencing different types of cancer right now. And although they have their own professional Western medicine doctors that they're going to and, going through their different rounds of chemo and medicines that they need in order to help them, I reached out and was also kind of asked to just maybe provide some supplemental information to them that may or may not have helped. But two of the people that I worked with came back and told me that it was really beneficial, more so just for mental clarity and emotional relaxation. It allowed them to kind of take their minds elsewhere, and they just physically felt better because of it, which for me was a huge accomplishment, and just in utter awe that is the type of feedback that these people received from it. So the first book that I'm going to share with you is called Mudras for Curing Cancer. It's 21 simple hand gestures preventing and curing cancer. And this is what it looks like. And it's a thin book, it's not too big, but it really kind of goes through different positions and discusses, what a mudra is and what you should kind of focus on. The other book that I purchased is called Mudras for Cancer, Yoga for Your Hands by Sabrina Mesco. Again, another small one, but really beneficial. This is great, and I'm going to be pulling a lot of today's information from this. Another book that I purchased recently is called The Power of the Breath. And if you've taken any of my other yoga classes, you'll see that I really try to start off each practice with a breathing exercise just to get us into the mindset, closing our eyes, really experiencing the breath coming in through the body and then exiting out for a nice release. And this really talks about the breath. This is called The Power of the Breath by Swami Sardanandana, and it's really talking about focusing on yoga, but for breathing, for inner balance, health, and harmony. And I love this book. I think it's even beautiful with the little art design, and I'm an art teacher, so I guess that's why I'm drawn to it. But there's just so many amazing pieces in here and information. It talks about just aligning yourself, directing your prana, kind of coping with negative emotions, how you should angle yourself and your alignment, why it's important to root down, how that connects to your Muladhara Bandha, your root lock area. So that's another one to check out. And then the last book that I'm going to share to you today also has a really cool cover by the same author as the last book. It's called Mudras for Modern Life. And this is to help boost health, enhance your yoga, and deepen your meditation by Swami Sardanandana. And it looks like this. And again, just kind of goes further into it. This gets more specific into a lot of different hand variations, a lot of different mudra practices, and guiding you not only how to practice, but why and how it works, how long you should do it, and how you should set yourself up in order to do it. So they just get more specific. You know, if you find this video to be helpful to you, I would definitely recommend checking them out. Or if you know me, maybe just ask and I'll let you borrow them. I don't mind that at all. So let's get started now that we've kind of gone over all that, and just begin to quiet your mind, sitting up nice and straight with a nice flat back, crown of the head touching towards the ceiling. You can rest your hands on your knees, maybe keeping them up to receive or down for grounding. We're just going to begin by taking in some deep breaths. So begin to close your eyes and just feel the air entering through your nostrils and exiting through your mouth. Breathing in and out. In and out. Doing this 3 more times at your own pace, but really embracing that air coming through, that fresh energy, bringing fresh life through the body. And exhaling out anything that no longer serves us, clearing ourselves of all negative energy. Taking the last 2 breaths quietly to yourself. And just take a moment to pause. Root down into your sits bones, keeping your spine nice and straight. Start to cultivate in your mind things that bring you happiness. Taking a deep inhale in and exhale out. Call to mind things that cause stress or anxiety, and don't dive deep into it, just kind of bring them into focus. And then using your fresh prana, your air, breathe in that positive energy into the body, connecting that energy to those negative emotions, objects, people, places, and exhale that right out of your system. Releasing that connection to the body. Take 3 full rounds of breaths, breathing in through your nostrils, pausing at the top, and exhale out. Breathing in through our nostrils, filling up those lungs, maybe 1 more breath, pausing at the top, and exhale, release. 1 more time, inhale through the nostrils, and exhale, release. Start to take notice of how your body feels. Feel the lightness enter your body, making you feel weightless. Bringing your mind to your third eye center, connecting for this practice a goal. Maybe this goal or intention is small, or maybe it's big. Maybe it's meant for just being in this space right now, or maybe it's something you're trying to achieve off the mat. Either way, keep this intention and this goal focused in your mind throughout our time in this practice. And as we move through the different parts of the subtle body learning, think about how you can apply this to your goal, using this goal or intention as your catalyst. Maybe you just want to take some time for yourself to decompress. Maybe you're trying to start a new journey of health. Maybe you're exploring some different opportunities that are coming your way. Or maybe you just want to feel grounded. It doesn't matter what your goal or intention is, because you are the one in control. You are the one setting your destination. And taking in 2 deep breaths, in through the nostrils and out through the mouth. One more time, in through the nostrils and out through the mouth. Cultivating this experience throughout our time here together. Gently open up your eyes, coming back to the practice. I'm going to begin by introducing you to some different terminology, just some foundation for you guys to really understand what it is we're exploring and why we're exploring it. I'm going to start first with the mudras, and then I'm going to move into the chakras. And after that, I'll begin to play some beautiful, just meditative music at a very low volume. I'm not trying to overwhelm us, but I'm going to play this when we go into holding these different mudra practices. And that way, it just kind of puts you back into that meditative state and is keeping just our whole overall persona, our aura, our emotions, our spirit very calm. So, first question, what are mudras? And I kind of briefly told you that it's hand reflexology, using our fingertips, our finger pads, and even our palm to stimulate and trigger different parts of our body. According to the Vedic culture of ancient India, our entire world is made up of the 5 elements. These are called the Pancha Maya Bhutas. The 5 elements are earth, water, fire, wind, and ether, or also known as space. They are also called the earth element, water element, fire element, wind element, and space element. These 5 elements constitute the human body. The nutrients from the soil, which is the earth, are absorbed by the plants which we consume. Thus we survive on the earth element. The blood flowing through our own veins represents the water element. The body heat represents the fire element. The oxygen we inhale and the carbon dioxide we exhale represents the wind element. And the sinuses we have in our nose and skull represent the space element. As long as these 5 elements in our body are balanced and maintained at appropriate levels, we remain healthy. An imbalance of these elements in the human body leads to a deteriorated health and dis-ease. Now understand this, the command and control center of all these 5 elements lies in our fingers. So literally, our health lies at our fingertips. The mudra healing method that we're going to be talking about today depends on our fingers. And to understand this, we first want to know the finger element relationship. So starting with our thumb, this is represented by our fire element. And if you remember from what I just said, the fire connects to the oxygen that we breathe in. Our index finger represents the wind element. So this is the carbon dioxide. Oh, I take that back. Hold on. the body heat that we develop in our skin is our thumb. So our fire element is our body heat as we're moving, as we're, going through maybe our asana practice, as we're working on our breath. It starts to heat us up when we're flipping upside down or taking an inversion or just generally going about our day. That heat that we build up is our fire element. Our index finger is the wind element, and this is our oxygen, breathing in through our nose and out through our mouth, bringing in fresh oxygen and releasing the carbon dioxide, things we don't need. Our middle finger is the space and ether element. So this is when we talked about our sinuses in our nose and in our skull, in our mind area. This is the ether. The third finger or fourth finger is the earth element. And this is our grounding, our connection to the earth, bringing in the nutrients from the soil and the plants that we use. And our small finger is the water element. So our blood that's moving about our body, flowing through our veins. So that's a little bit of the information on the mudras. And when we kind of work with mudras, we're bringing different connections together. And sometimes we're just using separate hands, and sometimes we're bringing both hands together. It just depends on what we're doing it for and the reasons why we're doing it. So now I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the chakras. And I am obsessed with the chakras and mudras, to be completely honest. I just feel like, especially in a yoga practice, it helps to keep your goal, your intention at bay, keep it at focus, and kind of, it's always there. It's something you want to work on. You can arrange different sequences around it, and it really does help to clear out blockages, as far as I found from my personal experience. And I also, I guess being an artist, I love colors, everything I do. If you look at my artwork, it's super vibrant. I always have very bold shades and hues of colors all over my pieces. And I've been really into lately kind of just experimenting with more abstract practices, but still keeping a realistic appeal. But a lot of it has to do with colors. So when we talk about chakras, I just get that much more excited because they're all kind of connected and building from one to the other like a rainbow. So chakras exist along our spine. They start at the bottom of our base, so it's kind of where our tailbone ends. That's going to be our first chakra, and I'll go through each one and we'll talk about them. And they continue all the way up until the top of the crown of our head. So this is where our seventh chakra lies. This is where we tap into that universal consciousness, our bliss body. And little other subtle energy centers and vortexes kind of exist between those 2 points, those other 5 areas that we know as the chakras, and they have a very extreme, powerful state that helps our health and well-being. The 3 lower chakras are earth chakras, and the 3 higher chakras are more of our higher thought, higher thinking, bliss, higher conscious chakras. And then our heart chakra, which is right in the center, is the bridge that connects both the upper and the lower areas together. So it's extremely powerful, extremely beneficial, and it just helps to really magnify the power, especially if we're working to align all the chakras. And today, when I go through the different mudras, I will tell you which parts or which chakras, maybe it's 1, 2, or a couple, that those specific mudras will also channel. So it'll just be good to kind of have a little bit of background information. Our subtle body energy is highly sensitive to outside sensory stimuli of sound, aromas, visuals, and outside electric currents that constantly surround us. Frequencies that permeate specific locations may attract or bother you. So you can just think about, for that statement, regular life. You might be driving in your car down the road and you're having a really good day, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere somebody comes and cuts you off, and then they're honking the horn at you, they've almost hit your car, and then it just completely disrupts your whole perspective. It gets your emotions triggered, it gets you panicked because you were completely calm. So that's something where it's a negative influence. But you can also have experiences where you get overstimulated, you get overly excited in the opposite way. So when we're in a neutral state, that just means we're like complete like rest, we're feeling good, we're feeling balanced, but you can have a little bit more of one side and a little bit more of the other, and that will easily take you out of balance. So it's important to kind of keep, you know, in the back of your mind, ways to get yourself back in alignment, ways to get your balance back on track. We are all very sensitive to different energies, and some of us feel them more than others. It just kind of depends on how you respond, how you take in other people's energies, their perspectives, what they're putting out into the world, and how you're receiving it back. A positive blend of energies with another person can create a magnet-like effect, whereas another person's negative, unharmonious, subtle energies field subconsciously pushes you away. So I'm sure you've experienced that in life, where some people come into your life and immediately you click, and then sometimes even in 5 minutes, you know that you don't want to be in somebody's presence and their energy is just pushing you to want to retreat and go away. And I've experienced that, as well as I'm sure all of you have experienced that. And by leading healthy lives and optimizing the proper function of the chakras, you empower your subtle energy bodies, adding strength to your physical body, mind, and spirit. Destructive behavior like addictions and abuse weakens your auric field and leaks your vital energy. And that doesn't have to be specific like addictions that you might think of as far as like alcohol abuse or drug abuse. It can be anything. It can be like, you know, you're addicted to not doing a whole lot. Maybe you're just, you know, you lay around all the time, or you don't eat healthy and you eat more junk food, which is not good for your body overall because it suppresses your immune system. So you want to think about, you know, if you're going to try to channel a positive, harmonious, balanced state of being, everything that you do, you want to treat in the same way. So the food that you take in, the fluids that you take in, the energy, the people you surround yourself with, you know, the environments that you place yourself with, you really want to pay attention to, is this going to serve me in a positive way, or is this going to serve me in a negative way? And from there, you can kind of distinguish clean energy versus bad energy that's mucky and dirty and just going to bring you down. Because you take that on when you're not prepared for negative emotions or negative auras or energetic fields that just aren't jiving with you. It makes you react. It maybe makes you retreat. You feel, you know, overwhelmed. That's when that anxiety comes in and the stress. So we have to be able to tap inside of ourselves and figure out, okay, this is who we are and this is our truth. And it's okay to have respectful boundaries. You know what your limits are, and you know that, okay, I can give and I can take, but there's a certain point that it pushes me above or below. And in order to keep that balance, you have to channel the right type of energy. So if we start at the line of chakras, I said to you that the base chakra, which is the Muladhara chakra, is down below our spine, right at the base of our tailbone. Coming right up from that is our second chakra. And I'm going to get a little bit more specific into them as we go. So our first chakra, the Muladhara chakra, as I said, is at the base of the spine. The color that this chakra represents is red. This is really huge in focusing on a foundation, a strong base, providing shelter, survival, having courage, inner security, and vitality. So all things that we need in creating, a complete, stable environment for ourselves. You can think of this area as far as the gland as the gonad gland. That's kind of about the area that it exists in. And again, this is our Muladhara chakra, and the color for this is red. So we start with red and we work our way kind of up towards our crown chakra. The second chakra is our Svadhisthana chakra, and this chakra is orange. That's the color that represents. And this is more of your adrenal glands, your sex organs. It's really targeting creativity, expression, sexuality, procreation, family structures, and intimate relationships. So if there's something in your life where you're struggling in this area, this is kind of where you want to target, because there might be some blockages. And especially with relationships or being able to creatively express yourself, a lot of times we hold a lot of stress and anxiety in our hips, so that's a good area to kind of work on if that's something that you're having trouble with. Moving up from there, more into our stomach, belly area, is going to be our third chakra. This is known as the Manipura chakra. The color for this is yellow. It's also known as the solar plexus chakra. The gland for this is the pancreas. And here is where we're going to focus on the ego, our intellect, our emotions of fear and anger. If something's holding you back or you don't believe in yourself all the way, this is kind of the area that you want to target. Moving up from there is our fourth chakra, the heart chakra, which I told you is the bridge connecting all seven together, the three lower earth chakras and then the three higher kind of mental and higher bliss chakras. But the Anahata chakra, the color is green. The gland is the thymus, and the heart chakra represents all matters of the heart. So love, self-love, compassion, faith. And you can see as we go through each one how they kind of build on one another. So a lot of times, even if you sequence a yoga or you design a practice using different chakras, you're still essentially going to be building from the bottom up or maybe working backwards, just depending on what your theme is. But you will use a lot of them simultaneously together. And if you're having questions of like faith or again, like relationships, but more importantly, like yourself, this is where you kind of need to go to open that up. The fifth chakra, which is located at our throat, known as the Vishuddha chakra, is represented with the color blue. And this represents communication, truth, higher knowledge, and your voice. So, for instance, if you're struggling, maybe in a relationship or even at work or just amongst family and friends, and you're holding back or you're not stating clearly what you need or what you desire, whether it's verbally, in writing, or in your mind, this is a chakra that you want to work on. And I think a lot of people struggle with this chakra just as a person taking note of what's going on in society, especially with this year, with how crazy things have been and with the election. People have stated a lot of their opinions, and sometimes it comes out very harsh. It's too much. And then at other times, people hold back in fear of not getting the reaction or having their message be received and hurt somebody. There's always like a hesitation. So if you're trying to, really be truthful, then this is something that you want to channel to be in balance so that you can be at peace. You're not going to hold back. You're just going to be expressive and communicate that truth the way that it is, and not really be worried about how people are going to respond, because as long as you know what the truth is and you're honest with yourself, then that's really all that matters, because that brings you peace. Moving up from there to our third eye chakra, the Ajna chakra. This is connected to our pineal gland. The color is indigo, or like a blue violet. And this represents our intuition, our inner vision, the third eye. So connecting kind of in that meditative state to our subconscious, being able to see different things from a clear point of view. You know, if this is blocked, you're going to have a little bit of ambiguity. You're not going to be able to really see kind of the signs that are right there in front of you. And when you're able to tap into that, you become very strong, you become very knowledgeable, you're able to really hear nature and embrace it for what it is. And you'll be able to see visions, you'll be able to understand, just have a clear mental state. So that is our sixth chakra. And then our last one, the seventh chakra, the crown chakra, which sits at the top, also known as our Sahasrara chakra. I always have trouble saying that. This is the top of the head, but known as the crown chakra. And this is having a complete state of bliss. You are universal consciousness. You have tapped in and tuned in so much that it's almost like a complete heavenly atmosphere. You're very unified. You're just completely bound together in a perfect state of balance. And the gland associated with this is the pituitary gland, and it also is represented either by the color white or violet. So you'll see that kind of as you go through. Some people associate it with white, and some people associate it with purple or violet, whatever you're used to kind of working with. Along our chakra column, which I said exists on our spine, we also have these nadi channels, which are subtle body energies that contain electric currents. And that's what nadis are. And like I said, there's 72,000 energetic currents that run throughout our body, from our toes to the top of our head and even down to our fingertips. So when we want our bodies working and functioning at optimum, execution, and having perfect balance, and having a clean aura and not letting negative things come to us and prevent us from being who we really are, we want to make sure that these energetic channels are also clear and working the way that they can. So it's all connected together, and these channels have to be light and clear and vibrant with light force for us to have that optimum health and empowerment. And when we do mudras regularly, this all connects together. So it's just a beautiful thing. And that's why I wanted to spend a little bit of time kind of going into it. You can also go further into it, and the books will explain this, that the mudras also connect to astrology. So if you're really big into astrology and you want to connect it to, zodiac signs and different parts of the solar system, this book that I'm reading right now, The Mudras for Cancer, Yoga for Your Hands, is where you want to target your focus. But with that being said, we're going to get into some practicing now. And most of these mudras, it'll tell you in the books approximately how long you should practice them each day. I'm going to do each one for about 10 minutes, just so that we have enough to experience and we give ourselves time to relax. It's almost like a restorative practice where the longer you sit into the pose, the more your body tunes in and slowly begins to open up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the mudra first. I'm going to give you a little bit of background, talk about the chakras and the colors that you should channel, show you how the pose works, and then we'll sit in that pose for a period of about 10 minutes. All right? I'm just going to grab my timer here to help us on this little subtle bodies journey. And if you're into this, I recommend, I got these off of Amazon. They come in 6 different numbers, but you don't have to get all 6. I just did for different time periods, but we're going to work with 10. And like I said, I'm also going to play some music for us in the background, just so that we can really get into this. And hopefully you can hear it. If not, you can just play your own very slow paced meditation. And I'll start that in a minute. But what we're going to do first is we're going to talk about mudras for inner security. I picked the 5 that I'm going to work with today, just based on how I was reacting to everything that's happened this year in 2020. And I think these 5 would be good for anybody who just feels, you know, they want that self-love, they want to build up that confidence, they want to let go of any turmoil, and these will really help you. I practiced them a bunch, and it's really provided me some amazing, amazing benefits. I will also recommend too that at the end of this session, you drink a lot of water, because sometimes these are detoxifying mudras. So it will definitely kind of cleanse you internally. And it's just good to always flush the system out with fresh water, fresh energy, fresh prana. So getting back into our section here. All right, so the first mudra we're going to talk about is the mudra for inner security. You are emotionally very sensitive and loving. That is an endearing quality and gives you the capacity for compassion for all living creatures and special sense of protection for your close family. But that aspect can cause you to emotionally swing the other way and be over touchy or perhaps even moody. You need to empower your emotional inner security and stability, and this mudra will help you to achieve that. So the chakras that this is going to activate is our 3rd and 4th chakra, which is our solar plexus and our heart. Okay, so our colors for this are yellow and green. A mantra that you can also kind of start with before you do this practice is Ad Shakti, which means I bow to the Creator's power. And what you're going to do, I'm just going to read you through this, and then I'm going to physically show you, and then we'll stay in this for about 10 minutes. But you're going to sit with a straight back, place your hands in reverse prayer pose. So the hands are going to start by touching back to back at the level of your heart and your solar plexus. So kind of in between both. And then you're going to hold the pose for 1.5 minutes, and then repeat the palms together in a prayer pose. And we're going to go through this together. And what I'll do is I'll indicate to you when we're going to switch at about 1.5 minutes each time. So let me get some music playing here. It's going to be low enough that it shouldn't overwhelm us. I'm just going to share my screen real quick, just to kind of take that away. Okay, so we're going to sit with that nice straight back, bring our palms to that position, but then reverse them. Okay, so you want to connect the fingertips together. And like I said, we're going to stay here for about 1.5 minutes and just take in some nice deep breaths. Try to get your thumbs together. Remember placing it at your heart and between your heart and your solar plexus. On the next inhale, flipping those hands back to prayer, and again bringing them back between our sacral or solar plexus and heart chakra. On an inhale, flipping those hands back into reverse prayer, connecting the fingertips together and trying to remain as still as you can. On an inhale, coming back to prayer. Gently reverse those hands to reverse prayer, coming back between the solar plexus and the heart. Flipping those palms back to prayer. On the inhale, just let your hands fall to either side. If you feel like you need to give your legs a little bit of a stretch, go ahead and do so. I'm going to move on to our next chakra that we worked with, or that we're going to be working with. And just a couple things as I was going through our first mudra. I just want to kind of call to mind some things that you might be experiencing. You might feel some tingling sensation, some activity inside of your fingertips. I felt it a lot in my second and third fingers. You'll also kind of just feel like even through different parts of the body, maybe some tingling sensations. So just embrace it. That just means that the mudra is working. And I would also like to point out that these are backed by science. There is research out there that shows that mudras have healing benefits. So I don't want anybody thinking this is kind of made up or I'm just spewing this information out there. These books provide you additional resources. You can also look online. There's a lot of beneficial information out there that's, like I said, part of Eastern medicine. So more of a holistic approach if you're trying to explore something other than what you're finding with medicine or, you know, what you're used to. So we're going to move on now. This is going to be the mudra for diminishing worries. And I thought this is a good one, especially for kind of everything that 2020 has brought us. I feel like it was the adventure of a lifetime that you just never knew how it was going to go or how it was going to turn out. So for this mudra, your great love and deep caring nature for your family brings along also some worry and unrest. And when we say family, that doesn't just have to be our biological family. Family can extend out to anyone that you consider to be family, whether they're blood related or not. It can be your work, it can be your friends, it can be your community. So whatever you consider family, just keep that in the back of your mind. Very often you will find yourself in a situation to be taking care of your entire extended family and overseeing and guiding everyone through their life journeys. Naturally, an element of clinginess could be present, and it's important to learn to let birds fly out of the nest as well. They will always return to you for advice. That will never change. But endless worrying won't do. Therefore, this mudra will help you overcome that tendency so you too can breathe and enjoy life. So for this mudra, we're going to be focusing on our heart chakra, our throat chakra, and our third eye chakra. So from about here to here. So we're moving up. Colors that we can channel are green, blue, and indigo. What a beautiful connection of family of colors. And what you want to do for this is you're going to sit with a straight back, bring your hands in front of your chest. The palms will be facing up. The sides of the little fingers and the inner sides of the palms are going to be touching. Now you're going to bring the middle fingertips together, perpendicular to the palms. And I'm going to show you this in just a minute. And you're going to extend the thumbs away from the palms. And you're going to hold and keep the fingers stretched as little antennas for energy. And remember, take deep, long in-breaths, or breaths, not in-breaths, and keep them slow. So try to just regulate your breathing as we go through this, because 10 minutes is a lot. And it can be a little overwhelming to just stay in this for 10 minutes, but a lot of these mudras kind of require you to do this multiple times a day and for up to 45 minutes a day to really see some good benefits. So we're going to start with our pinkies and we're going to bring them here. Our third, just making sure I do this, yep. These fingers are going to come here. Our middle fingers are going to connect. Our index fingers are going to point out. You're going to kind of rest. This is the part of the palm that they said to connect. So you want to kind of point those down, up, out, up, out. And it's going to look like this. Okay. So we'll do that again because I know it's kind of a lot and I want to just make sure that everybody is okay. But basically your index finger and your ring finger are going to shoot out. And they want to be kind of perpendicular to your other fingers. You're going to connect the pinkies together, slight little palm, middle fingers come together, and thumbs facing out into a different area. So hopefully you have that, okay? I'm going to set our timer. We're going to do this for 10 minutes. If it helps to close your eyes, then close your eyes. Whatever you need to do for yourself to make this work best. Remember the fingers that aren't being connected, you can hold them out like antennas and just stay here, maybe closing your eyelids. I'm going to move my camera to focus a little bit more. And gently just letting your hands kind of separate, maybe bring some subtle movement back into them if they're feeling tense. If you need to, go ahead and adjust your position. If you need to stand up or take a break, or you want to get a sip of water at any point, please feel free to do that. Just take a minute here for yourself. We're going to move into our third mudra for today, which is for emotional balance. And I thought how appropriate, as we're concluding a crazy, crazy year. But at the same time, years like this test you on a level that show you you're more than capable of handling a lot more than you realize. And that's kind of how I tried to take the approach for 2020, was there was so much to digest. And thankfully, we're one of the few that were able to survive. There's been a lot happening. You might have known people that have passed, and it's really just sent us on a roller coaster. I lost my grandfather earlier this year, not COVID related, but still, it's painful. You process, it's a change in your dynamics. I was used to seeing him all the time, so I'm sure people can relate. And sometimes it's hard to get out of our head and kind of regulate ourselves and bring our emotions back into check so that they are in a nice balanced state. So I felt like it was very appropriate for us to kind of engage on this one today. And feel free again to make any kind of adjustments that you want. If at any point you need to take a break because the 10 minutes is just too much, take a break and then maybe just rejoin us when you're ready. The goal is to try to be able to sit in these positions for about 45 minutes. I tend to like to break that up throughout the course of the day, because for me, it's hard to often find and be still for 45 minutes. Certain days I have the ability to do that, but a lot of times I try to do it in the morning and then at night. So, as I said, mudra for emotional balance. Your gifts and intuitive powers require a clear, calm instrument in order to operate at maximum capacity. Emotions need to be in perfect balance in order for you to be able to tune in and sense proper decisions, future events, and opportunities. In the area of your health, it is essential that you protect yourself from unnecessary emotional stress and everything that brings along. This mudra will work wonders for your overall emotional state and comfort. With regular practice, you will be able to magnify your intuition while preserving your health. And what's beautiful about this one is it activates all 7 chakras. So you can think about all 7 colors, excuse me, moving from red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, or white. The kind of tantra that you can repeat to yourself is Satnam, which means truth is God's name, one in spirit. So you can say that quietly to yourself. It's good to also take a sip of water, which is why I kind of had you guys take a little bit of a break. And just for like additional purposes, you can make sure that it's a room temperature glass of water, because that helps you just kind of be neutral. It's not too cold where it's activating, and it's also not too hot, which is also activating. And you're going to place both hands and the palms of your hands under your armpits like this, okay? So you've probably seen so many people sitting like this, a lot of them at sports games if they're watching their children or nieces or nephews play. We're going to close our eyes and we're going to inhale, kind of giving ourselves a big hug, lifting the shoulders back towards the ears and then allowing them to drop down our spine. And we're going to kind of repeat this every 3-ish minutes. So I'll let you guys know when it's time to just lift up and release. I'm actually going to move myself back towards the wall just to get a little bit more support. And I'm going to have to adjust. And if you want, while I'm doing this, take another sip of water. Maybe just have a little bit of a cleansing situation. Again, room temperature recommended. Taking those palms, placing them underneath of our armpits, taking a deep inhale and exhale, dropping them back towards our spine, and just continue to sit here. And I will indicate to you when we're going to lift those shoulders back up, drop them down our back. First, inhale those shoulders up, and exhale them back down your spine. Inhaling the arms up and exhaling them back down our spine. Taking an inhale in and exhale, dropping them back below your spine. We have a special guest visitor for those of you that hear my dog in the background. On an inhale, just gently opening up your arms, releasing them from your armpits, maybe standing up and shaking your legs out. Maybe getting a drink. If you need a tissue. Sometimes when we're working on the breathing, you have to clean out your sinuses. That's normal, it's okay. Just means the body's working and it's good to sometimes just clear it all out. Maybe taking a nice sip of water, whatever you need. We're going to be moving on to our fourth mudra, which is the mudra for removing depression. And I thought this was a good one because we all experience depression at different points in our lives, some more powerful than others, depending upon what experiences we've been through. Maybe just adjusting your legs for this next mudra, just to give your body a little bit of relief. But in this mudra, by knowing you are vulnerable and prone to emotional mood swings, you can prepare and prevent this occurrence from happening. Proper diet is essential, as is sufficient rest and relaxation. If you ignore these vulnerable aspects, you could unnecessarily suffer from depression, which would require more work and discipline to overcome. Therefore, it is most beneficial that you establish healthy and proper care for yourself in every aspect with a healthy lifestyle. The chakras that we're going to be channeling and aligning for this mudra is chakra 4, 5, and 6, heart, throat, and third eye. The mantra for this is Harinam, Satnam, Satnam, Harinam, which means God is truth in creation. So we're going to sit with a straight spine, stretch our arms in front of your hands, hands at a heart level. And again, I've said this before, but if you feel like it's too much, the 10 minutes, do what you can, take a break, and then come back to it. If you're able to rejoin us, just kind of watch and take notes. And then as you continue to practice this, just build up on your time. You want to put the backs of your hands together with your fingers pointing away from your body, making sure that as many as possible knuckles touch together. Your forearms are as parallel to the ground as possible. Thumbs are pointing down to the ground. This mudra creates a great deal of tension on the back part of your hands, but do not practice for too long if your muscles are strained. So again, listen to your body. If it's too much, then take a break and then rejoin when you can. So when you're ready, we're going to get into position. We're going to have a nice straight spine. Again, I'm using the wall to help me. We're going to flip our hands, trying to come into the heart space. You want to try to make sure that every knuckle can touch the opposite knuckle. My thumbs are a little difficult in trying to do this. And if you feel like your arms are starting to get heavy and they lower, that's okay. Maybe pausing here for a minute, but then coming back up. If you also need, just to provide a little bit of support, you can bend your knees and allow your arms to rest on your knees, but trying to keep a nice straight back. And this will allow you to center yourself still in the position of the heart, which is where we're starting on our chakra journey. Heart, throat, third eye center. So kind of just coming back, cultivating, maybe closing your eyes. Try to keep your muscles relaxed. Sometimes holding this, you can tense up, especially in the arms. But just remember to breathe. Remember, if at any point it becomes too much, you could come out, maybe rotate. We're a little more than halfway done, and then just come back. Using the support of your knees to just allow your arms to rest on top of them. Making sure to connect those knuckles together. Couple more breaths in. And on the exhale, just kind of releasing your hands. You might need to shake that one out. That was a tough one, but definitely for a good purpose. We're going to be moving into our last mudra for the practice. A pretty simple mudra at that. This is going to be mudra for preventing stress. So what a beautiful way to end our year of nothing but stress in all the different forms that it was, whether good or bad. Often stress is something we create out of unnecessary habits or situations. When various challenging dynamics present themselves to you, you have a choice. What is truly important and worth your time and effort? That's a really good question. And, there's so much that kind of goes on throughout the day and the week, the month, the year that we don't really give ourselves enough time to think about that. And it's until almost we have like a collapsing moment where we hit rock bottom that we're like, okay, what am I going to allow and what am I not going to allow? So you cannot protect every single vulnerable human being or living creature. So be selective, make an impact, and reserve the rest of your energy for yourself, and more importantly, your loved ones. You are delicate. For optimal health, stress needs to be eliminated as much as possible. Make time for loving home environment that will help to heal and empower you. I'm going to read that again because I think it's just really important. And I wanted to really sink in. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but just kind of after that question that asks, what is truly important and worth your time and effort? You cannot protect every single vulnerable human being or living creature. So be selective to make an impact and reserve the rest of your energy for yourself, huge, and more importantly, your loved ones. You are a delicate instrument, and for optimal health, stress needs to be eliminated as much as possible. So make time for a loving home environment that will heal and empower you. That is probably something on my yoga student journey that I have found to be number one, is really making sure that my home, and home can be many different things. It doesn't have to be a specific house or a specific apartment or condo or even location, but a place that provides you shelter and where you feel most at peace. And maybe that's just within yourself. Maybe you don't have a physical structure, but maybe there's a location, whether internal, external, that you find to really cultivate this sense of balance. And you have to treat that home with the utmost respect. You want to keep it clean. You want to keep it away from impurities. You want to treat it like a vessel, okay? So taking care of yourself, getting the right amount of sleep, keeping your energy balanced, not letting negative factors, whether it's people, places, things, objects, work, come into life and really impact it. When it presents itself to you, acknowledge it and then let it go. Because when we let that stuff take over us and make an impact and cause dis-ease, that's when we invite those negative energies into our body, and we don't get rid of it. We just inhale it. So for this one, we're going to sit with a nice straight spine, bending our elbows and bringing our forearms to the front of our solar plexus, the area that's going to be, it's going to be parallel to the ground, and I'll show you in a minute. We're going to rest the back of the left hand in the palm of the right hand. Both palms will face up, fingertips will be straight and together, and we're going to hold for about 10 minutes, okay? Just concentrate on our breath. So when you're ready, getting yourselves into that nice, comfortable position. You want to for this one, because you feel like you can't hold your arms in that place, you can utilize your knees, but if not, maybe stretch those legs out in front of you. Again, left hand, the back of it. I'm gonna put it this way. Fingers do not want to be like this. They want to be together and relaxed. We're going to take our left hand, flipping it here, take our right hand underneath. Sorry, I've got some unexpected hiccups. Sitting up nice and straight, and honestly just keeping it right on that solar plexus. And that's relaxing. You want to keep your arms parallel to the ground and just sitting here, almost like cradling a baby, just holding it and embracing it and concentrating on the breath. Maybe as your hands rest on your solar plexus, you feel the belly rise and lower with each inhale and exhale. And taking this time to cultivate that aura, that sense of positive energy that you want, providing that stability for our home, a clean, happy energy, and settling in here. On an inhale, coming back to center, releasing the hands, maybe rotating the wrist, shaking out any areas that are providing any discomfort. We're going to take a couple of asana stretches before we conclude our practice. So on an inhale, raise your arms up, wrist open to the right. Try to take your gaze over top of the right shoulder. On an inhale, lifting those arms back up. Exhale, twisting open to the left. On an inhale, coming back up to center and exhaling those hands down. Do that 3 more times. And take nice cleansing breath with each inhale and exhale, inhaling through your nose and exhaling out of your mouth. So when you're ready, inhaling those arms up and exhale out your mouth. Again, inhale, arms up. Exhale, release. One more time, inhaling the arms up. And exhale, let it go. Bringing those hands to prayer, connecting those thumb knuckles right at our heart center. I thank you for joining me on this journey today into our practice of subtle bodies. I hope you were able to take away from this some important information that you found to be useful, maybe activating different parts of the body with our fingertips, our knuckles, and our palms, cultivating a source of positive energy to get ourselves ready for a new journey that awaits us. Feel free to utilize those books that I talked to you about, or even go to Google and look up the information for yourself if you have specific areas in which you want to target. It's very easy to find information readily available. And always feel free to reach out to me too if you'd like some additional guidance or you're just not sure of where you need to search. I am here as a tool to help guide you each on your journeys. So bringing our hands to third eye center, bowing our heads to seal in this practice. I wish you all a great rest of the day and continued peace, love, and happiness throughout your day and throughout the rest of your lives. Enjoy this peaceful feeling that we've cultivated inside of us. And remember to only allow things into your life and into your home space that are going to nourish and treat us the way that we deserve. Namaste. Thank you all for joining me today. I look forward to meeting you again on the mat, and I hope you all have a beautiful rest of the day. Bye, guys.